A new year brings a new faction war. This time, we battle on the only planet in the galaxy not infested by the Mushroom Boys. How has the absence of the Orcs shaped this month's tournament arena? Will the World Eaters or the Black Templars rise up as the new best aggressive faction? Will the Eldar finally be able to get an attack in? And will the new boys on the block dominate the meta? The Orcs have dominated the tournament arena in every faction war so far, and while they may not have been the strongest faction, they were by far the most popular. With no legendary characters in their roster and an easily accessible campaign, most players had access to a full roster of Orcs, giving them the bonus points. Boss Golgot's reworked active gave the Orcs everything they needed to be a standout faction. Now that they've gone missing, new factions have risen up to dominate the arena. The Black Templars have done well to fill the role of high movement melee aggression similar to the Orcs. Sword Brother Godswill has been a tournament arena MVP ever since his rework, and that hasn't changed for faction wars. His high damage and uncommon ability to shove characters off objective hexes makes him a legend for the conquest game mode. Brother Jaeger backs up Godswill with a fantastic defensive passive and the ability to lock in key characters with taunt. The Thousand Suns is full of tricks up their sleeves. Yazagor is core to the team, allowing any of Abraxas, Thormachus or Ahriman to burst into the middle of your team and cause psychic mayhem. Abraxas floods the board with screamers and can reliably take out one or two characters with a single ability. Ahriman buffs the whole team's psychic damage and can melt enemies inside their armour. The Blood Angels have burst onto the scene in their debut faction war, boasting a glass cannon offense to wipe out the enemy. A strong combo between the newest character Nicodemus and the intercontinental ballistic Matineo demolishes grouped enemies. Nico's active lowers Matineo's health to double his active damage. Lucian acts as a Khan Light, unleashing high damage that can be doubled with good placement from Mephiston. The Blood Angels' power is only offset by their lack of defensive abilities. If Matineo and Lucian can't get enough kills, then the Blood Angels are susceptible to a strong counterattack. The true kings of this year's first faction wars, however, is the young, tech-obsessed Xenos, the Tau. Already possibly the best faction before the removal of the Orcs, the Tau have become an unstoppable force when used with any kind of wit. The conquest game mode is made for the Tau, with the powerful zone controller Ravas taking centre stage, literally. Ravas's early warning overdrive will quickly melt any character not wearing Terminator armour. This ability allows the Tau to control objectives early in the match, while Shosil and Darkstrider set up. The second early warning overdrive, thanks to Ornshi, makes sure that no characters steal the objectives back, as Shosil pumps out sniper drones to wipe out the enemy. This combination of defensive power and high range puts the opponents on the back foot and short of options. The regular counters to Ravas, such as Thaddeus, Celestine and Matineo, are all locked into their own factions, leaving many, such as the Black Templars and the World Eaters, without an easy option to deal with early warning overdrive. The Tau can easily gain control of all three objectives by the third turn, meaning they only need to kill two characters to secure the victory. If you're looking for a faction to unlock your final chest, or to fight for a top place in the leaderboards, then the Tau are your best option. Some factions you may want to avoid this season are the Death Guard. Powerful counters to the Orcs' last faction wars, the Death Guard are far worse off this time around. Their low movement is not suitable for gaining objectives, and their highly defensive, turtling playstyle suffers when only two characters need to be killed off to lose. The Necrons. Though they have great synergistic abilities, the Necrons are mostly made of paper and will quickly die to an aggressive opponent. Anufet's powerful Necron warriors come in too late in the conquest game mode. The Ultramarines. The boys in blue can't quite muster up the strength to knock over opponents. Similar to Anufet, Bellator requires time to make use of his active. Titus can go on a killing spree thanks to his passive when going up against AI. However, any smart human opponent will easily be able to play around his reviving conditions. Who have you been using for this faction wars? And what rarity have you been playing in? Has any faction become more powerful in the absence of the Orcs? Let me know in the comments below.